So after that, we go on to the last boss fight of the game, which is against Swinehart and his giant pig robot. Ironic that the only giant robots in this game is the final boss, when the other games you could control their robots and things, but whatever. And Sparks is getting tossed around as usual. So yeah, Swinehart's in his own little robot, which is in a big robot, and we basically have to damage the big robot to get the smaller robot out. And yeah, it's kind of like one of those bosses where you have to do damage to the big thing to lure the little thing out, and in order to damage the big robot, you just have to hit it when it brings its snout out and it drops off enemies. He'll then try to attack you with by punching the ground. And keep in mind the gray platforms can be broken after a few hits. And he also has eye lasers, because what robot wouldn't have eye lasers in a video game? When he does that, he does give off an indication when he's going to shoot off the eye lasers, though. So just keep an eye out for that. And he'll go in different angles and then drop off different enemies as well. It's best to try and clear the enemies as much as you can, and then go for the snout. Or vice versa, rather, with getting rid of them. So in order to damage Swinehart, you have to hit him while he's flying around, and you have to get him to hit the big robot in the electrical parts there. Because although, of course, you have to time it so that when you hit him, he'll fall down onto it, because just attacking him directly won't damage him. And in the meantime, the large robot is slowly getting its power back. I guess it's in a recharge phase or something. So this part can be a little bit annoying if you don't know exactly how to do it. But figuring out where to hit Swinehart is basically just the main thing you have to just do in this fight. There's also plenty of platforms and stuff around too for you to do, and that's why you gotta be quick when Swinehart drops off enemies, or the robot. But luckily he'll usually drop off enemies within a close vicinity, that way you have time to reach up and attack its snout. I was gonna shoot eye lasers. Yep. It's funny how even the giant robot has its own medals and stuff, which wouldn't serve much of a purpose, but hey, even giant war robots like this need aesthetics, you know? And yes, he's destroying platforms. One thing you got to keep in mind is when he's using the pounding attacks, like when he's pounding the ground, it does have a shockwave to it, so you can get hit by that. Okay, let's try this. You have to time it just right so that he flies into it. And he's also a pretty relentless attacker as well, because he'll shoot a lot of things at you and fly around. He's a little bit annoying to actually try and hit. It also doesn't help that you can get hit by all sorts of stuff, such as things. And there we go. That's how you damage him. You just get him and then he becomes fried pig. Haha. So once I finally figured out how to do it, of course, I only have half a heart left at this point, so... And, come on, get over here. Of course I had to fall down and die. A few lives later... Yeah, this took me a few tries. It's mostly because I haven't played this game in a little while, so... I kind of forgot the best method of actually attacking Swinehart and getting him electrocuted. And a greatest shield guy. Let's just get there. Whoa, okay, that was... I thought he was going to shoot from the other side, but I guess not. The worst is when he sends these guys out, but luckily I can just stun lock the shock trooper there. Like, you don't have to worry too much about the enemies that he sends after you. You just gotta deal with them once they're deployed. That's all you have to do. Okay, there we go. It's best to get into a spot, and then when he flies over, you boost straight up into him. That way he falls onto the snouts or the hands that are electrified. Like so. Ah, not quite there. It's best to just lure him in rather than trying to chase him, because he'll fly away, and it's not the best way to attack him. There we go. We're getting some good damage on him now. Yeah. There we go. Just a couple more hits should do it. But of course, the giant robot managed to recharge before I could. And if he's up all the way up there, you normally have to like just get up on a platform and do it like that. And drill attacks can take care of those little robots pretty easily. And there, just managed to get him there. Yikes. Okay. We're doing alright this time around. There we go. Take care of you too. So yeah, once you figure out the pattern of this final boss, it's actually pretty easy. This is actually a pretty easy final boss. But of course I had to lose a few lives just learning that process. So there is a bit of a learning curve, but once you learn it, it's pretty easy. And we destroy it, and he goes blasting off again. And that does it. We just cleared the game. We get one final score tally. And as you can see, that took way longer than the par time. Thankfully, I cut that out for your convenience. So yay, Sparkster's a hero once again, and Princess Sherry, at least I think it's Sherry, comes in and kisses Sparkster, so yay! All 4 citizens that haven't been killed to congratulate him. So, that was Rocket Knight for the Xbox Live Arcade, which is also on PSN and Steam. As a fan of the series, I enjoyed this game. It's not as good as the older games, because it doesn't quite have that, I don't know, it's hard to describe, a bit that charm to it, and that amount of variety and things like that. Because Konami really did do some good level design in the older games with the Sparkster and Rocket Knight Adventures games, but this one, which was made by Climax, they did an okay job. And it was good that Sparkster had a game that was actually came out, because for quite a while, the Rocket Knight Adventure games were pretty much like just a few games from like back in the early 90s that you wouldn't think that would ever get enough popularity to, you know, get a new game, but they just managed to get a new game out through some, with the producer of this game managed to get some persistence out and get this actually out and done, and that was actually pretty good on behalf of all the fans that do enjoy this series like I do. So in that regard, I think it's good that Sparkster had at least one more final, you know, last hurrah in this gaming generation, because I doubt there'll be another Rocket Knight game or a sequel to this anytime soon, because Rocket Knight and Rocket Knight Adventures and Sparkster, they're more of a cult classics than actual, you know, something that would be very successful for Konami. But at least Konami acknowledges that there are fans of this series, and I think this game did an okay job of providing at least something for us fans of the series. So, of course, this game is around $15, and I just beat it in under 2 hours. That usually how long it takes to beat it, just under 2 hours, depending on how fast you go through the game. But there is a little bit of incentives for replay value. There's a hard difficulty mode, there's a couple of unlockables, there's certain things you can do with achievements, and you know, there's time attacks, or there's time pars you can go after for achievements and leaderboards and things like that. There's scores for leaderboards. So at least it's not just a bare bone game in terms of just, you know, this, what I just showed. There is a little bit more, at least, to it. But still, for $15, I'd say it's more for the fans of the series. But if you like action platformers, like 2D platformers that are, you know, classic side-scrolling, that are, you know, akin to the early 90s platformers and things like that on the Super Nintendo and Genesis, just like the Rocket Knight Adventures, Rocket Knight Adventure, and Sparkster games, I think you'll enjoy this. And we get one final cutscene with Sparkster heading back home to his family. It was good to see you. One last game, buddy. Yay. And with that, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this game, and I'm gonna do... the next Let's Play will be something a little different, so stay tuned for that, guys, and I'll see you later.